Very good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about chapter number 6, land use. At the beginning of the lesson, you have one activity, activity 1. What you have to do in this activity? You have to draw a sketch of your house. On this sketch, show the following with proper directions. What you have to show? You have to show kitchen, bathroom, courtyard, living room, bedroom, etc. After the sketch is ready, you have a discussion on the following points. Number 1. Why do we need to fix a place for everything in the house? Second, what would happen if there were no fixed places? So based on this activity, we come to the conclusion that as you may have realized that there is a fixed place for everything after doing the activity. If this is not done, the house appears disorganized. There will be difficulties while moving around the house. Even if these arrangements are changed, there will be confusion for a few days. The land available in your house is used for different purposes. In simple way, we can say that land use is the way or purpose for which land in a region is used. The interaction between geographical factors and man have resulted in land use. Land use undergoes changes with time. As man's needs have increased, the use of land for different purposes has also increased. Mineral-rich land is used for mining. Fertile plains are used for agriculture. So this is all about land use. Now here we are going to discuss about different types of land use. What all different types of land use are there? This land use are divided into two: rural land use and urban land use. Rural land use, under which we are going to discuss about arable land, fallow land, forest land, grasslands or pasture land. Rural land use. See dear students, in the rural areas, agriculture is the main occupation. Agro-based activities are also common in the rural areas. This influences the location for the rural settlements. Hence, these settlements are located close to the agricultural fields and forest areas. The settlements of miners are close to the mining areas, while the fishermen's settlement are near the sea shore. In rural areas, the availability of land is more and the population is less. Hence, population is sparse. Population is very less. In rural areas, the extent of residential areas is also very less. Land use in the rural areas can be classified in the following ways. Number 1 is the arable land. This arable land is the land under cultivation. Normally, this land is under individual ownership. This land can be classified as per the ownership of the land and types of agriculture. Second, fallow land. Fallow land is agricultural land which is temporarily not in use. In order to improve the fertility of the soil, the farmer does not use a part of his agricultural land for 1 or 2 seasons. Forest land. A demarcated forest area is also a type of rural land use. From this area, forest products like firewood, gum and grass are obtained. Forest comprise of large trees, bushes, creepers and grass. Grasslands and pasture land. This land is under the ownership of the village panchayat or the government and is used for grazing purpose. This land belongs to the entire village. Very little grassland is under individual ownership. Here we can able to understand the different types of rural land use through arable land, fallow land, forest land and grassland or pasture land. Very good morning students. In our earlier video, we have discussed about land use and different types of land use, under which the first type we have learned, that is rural land use. Now here in this video we are going to discuss about urban land use. There has been an increase in urban settlements in the 20th century. In urban areas, land is used for different purposes. It is necessary to make maximum use of the land. In urban areas, with reference to population, the land is limited. Everybody knows that. Therefore, the distribution of population is dense. And urban land use can be classified on the basis of this distribution of the land use. First is the commercial land use. Some parts of cities are only used for commercial purposes. And in these areas, there are many shops, banks and offices. So this has given rise to the concept of the CBD, Central Business District. For example, in Mumbai, the Fort area or the BKC, that is Bandra Kurla Complex, comes under commercial land use. Residential land use. Here, the main land use is for residential purposes. In this area, houses and residential buildings are included. Since population is more in the urban areas, residential land use has increased due to it. Transport land use. In urban areas, transportation facilities are important for the movement of goods and people. For this purpose, different types of transportation facilities are found in the cities like public bus stops, railway lines, metro, monorail, commercial vehicles, etc. And in addition to this, the number of private vehicles is also large. Hence, in the city roads and in the cities, railway lines, station, petrol pumps, transport depots and vehicle repair centers occupy large areas. These are included in the transport land use. Public utility area. For the various needs of the population, some services are provided by the local governing bodies, state government or central government. The area under these services comes under public utility area. For example, hospitals, post offices, police stations, police grounds, schools, colleges, universities, etc. And the land use under the category is very important. These services diffuse the tensions caused due to the increasing population. Recreational land use. In the cities, some areas have to be specially reserved for the entertainment of the population, and the use of such spaces is mainly for fields, gardens, swimming pools, theatres, etc. Mixed land use. In some areas, we have find all these uses together. Such areas are said to have mixed land uses. For example, residential areas and entertainment areas. So on the maps, spatial colors are used to indicate such areas. Red color is for residential area, blue color is for commercial area, yellow is for agricultural area, and green is for forest areas. Very good morning, students. In our previous class, we have discussed about different types of land use and uses of land use. Now in this video, we are going to discuss about transitional areas and suburbs. Along with that, we are also going to discuss about planned cities. Transitional areas and suburbs. What do we call it as a transitional area? See, my dear students, rural settlements which starts outside the boundary areas of urban settlements, but the intermediate area in between the urban and rural land use is called the transitional area. And in this transitional area, there is a blend of rural-urban land use. In these transitional areas, the land use is of a mixed nature. And in this zone, cultural activities are also of a mixed type. Over time, this area is converted into an urban area and these regions become suburbs. For example, Bandra, Bhandup, etc. These are the suburbs of Mumbai city. Students, let's think about if land is left fallow or is not in use, then can it be termed as a kind of land use? I'll repeat the question. If land is left fallow or is not in use, then can it be termed as a kind of land use? What would be the answer of this? The agricultural land which is temporarily not in use is called the fallow land. The agricultural land which is temporarily not in use is called fallow land. So fallow land use is a form of rural land use. And to increase the fertility of soil, farmers do not use a part of agricultural land for few seasons. After 1 or 2 seasons, fallow land is again utilized for cultivation. So we give the time to that land to get rejuvenate. Therefore, if land is left fallow or is not in use, then it can be termed as a kind of land use. Understood? Let's talk about planned cities. After the Industrial Revolution, urbanization occurred on a large scale throughout the world. Since this urbanization was not well planned, cities began to grow in a haphazard manner. Because of employment opportunities there, a large scale migration to cities occurred. As a result of it, the availability of land is always a serious problem in the cities. A lot of diversity is visible in the land use of the cities. So limited land, varied land uses, and as a result of that, we can see the increase in the number of people in the cities, which resulted in the thought of having planned cities for the future. Even before a city grows, its land use is predetermined and a planned layout is prepared for that. So accordingly, the cities are developed like Singapore, South Korea, Switzerland, Washington DC, Brasilia, Chandigarh, Bhubaneswar, all are the examples of planned cities. Very good morning, students. In our previous video, we have talked about transitional areas and suburbs and planned cities. Now in this video, we are going to discuss about the ownership of land and ownership of rights. See my dear students, on textbook page number 37, you have one figure, that is figure 6.1, which is all about land use in Japan and India in percent. What you have to do, you have to examine the pie charts showing the land use in figure 6.1 and answer the following questions. Yellow color, here it is used for suitable for agriculture. Red color, permanent agriculture. Green color for forest. Blue is for permanent pastures. And orange color is used for others. So here, based on this pie chart, you have to answer the questions asked below. First question, here it is. In which country is the land under forest more? In which country the land under forest more? What will be the answer? The land under forest is more in Japan. The land under forest is more in Japan. Second question. In which country is the land under agriculture more? In which country is the land under agriculture more? And the answer is the land under agriculture is more in India. The land under agriculture is more in India. Third question, here it is. Considering the two questions above, which I discussed with you just now, how will you relate the physiography and climate of India and Japan with their respective land uses? Very, very important for us to know the land use of India and Japan, considering its physiography and climate. So due to the plains and monsoon climatic condition, the population in India is more. Therefore, agricultural land use is prominent in India. And due to the mountainous region and more proportion of what we can say the precipitation or amount of rainfall, the forest land use is prominent in Japan. So that is all about the land uses of India and Japan with respect to its physiography and climate. Next question is correlate their land use and development. Land use in India shows comparatively low development. But on the other hand, land use in Japan shows comparatively high development. Based on this, the next question is which land use is found in Japan then? The land use like agricultural land use, forest land use, grassland land use and other land use are found in Japan. Last question here it is, considering the land use in both the countries like India and Japan, make a list of factors affecting land use. So here, considering the land use in both the countries, we have listed out some of the factors which are affecting the land use of India and Japan. What are these factors? See, factors affecting land use in India will be fertility of soil, climatic conditions, natural resources, slope of land, etc. But factors affecting land use in Japan like technical advancement, availability of resources, government policies, etc. So while having a discussion of all these questions, you may have realized that in different countries, the percentage under various land uses differ. And based on the availability of land, the population of a country, its quality and needs, land use types vary. Based on this, the land use types varies. And in Japan, for example, the percentage of land under forest is more and the percentage of land under permanent agriculture is very low. So as compared to that, in India, the percentage of land under forest is low while the percentage of land under permanent agriculture is high. Very good morning, students. In our previous video, we have discussed about ownership of land and ownership of rights. Let's continue with the same. Here on textbook page number 37, we have can you tell questions. The first question here it is, what kind of land use is shown in the figure 6.2 and figure 6.3. Both the figures are in the textbook page number 38 and 39. So what kind of land use is shown in figure 6.2 and 6.3? Land use shown in the figure 6.2 is agricultural land use and land use shown in the figure 6.3 is non-agricultural land use. Based on this both the images, can you tell in which area the property is located? Based on the figure 6.2 and 6.3. The property shown in the figure 6.2 is located in the rural areas and the property shown in figure 6.3 is located in the urban area. Now, based on these question answers, let us have a discussion of the 7/12 extract. Under the land utilization, we have seen how land is put to different uses. The ownership of land could be private or public. Land registration in this context of 7/12 extract is done under the revenue department. Land registration in this context is done under the revenue department of the government. All the information about the registered land can be obtained from the revenue department in the 7/12 extract. Let us get some information about this. Dear students, one can get to know under whose ownership the land is from the 7/12 extract. And the extract is a record kept by the Public Revenue Department. Serial number 7 and 12 are distinctive sections of the law pertaining to the ownership of land. And this 7/12 extract is a kind of mirror about the land. This is because just by reading the extract, sitting in one place, one can get complete information about the piece of land without actually going there. The register of the revenue department records the details of the ownership rights of the family, status of debts and loans, transfer of ownership and the area under different crops. Village form number 7 and village form number 12 are combined to prepare as 7 by 12 extract. Hence, it is termed as 7 by 12 extract. Hope you have understood, students, what exactly the 7 by 12 extract is. Hence, this 7 by 12 extract, the village forms are available with the talati of every village for the land and revenue collection purposes. Let us know more about the reading of the 7 by 12 extract. Occupant class 1 means the land over which ownership rights are available through generations. This is ancestral property. Occupant class 2 means the land given by the government to marginal farmers or landless people. Such land can be sold, leased, pledged, given as charity or transferred only with the sanction of the district collector. Below that, under assessment, the amount of tax levied on the land is given in rupees or paise. In other rights, the names of other joint holders are included. This is also shows the status of loan taken for agriculture and whether they have been repaid or not. Based on the above discussion of 7 by 12 extract, let us know more about the property card. Ownership of non-agricultural land is recorded on the property card. This document showing ownership rights and the area of property is made available from urban land records. It has certain information like city survey number, plot number, amount of tax, area of the property assessed, right to access, etc. Very good morning, students. In our earlier video, we have discussed about the 7 by 12 extract and property card. Now in this video, we are going to discuss about can you tell questions and give it a try questions given on page number 40. See, before that I wanted to tell you, always remember there are the factors which are affecting land use. So the factors affecting land use in the rural areas are different than that of the factors affecting land use in the urban areas. Let us first discuss about the factors affecting land use in the rural areas. Number 1, climate. Second, soil. Third, type of slope. Fourth, irrigation. Fifth, natural resources. And sixth, government policies. Now let us discuss about the factors affecting land use in the urban areas. Number 1, location and site. Second, natural resources. Third, housing development policies. Fourth, transportation routes. Fifth, industrialization. Sixth, trade and commerce. Seventh, playgrounds and entertainment facilities. And last one, government policies. So based on these factors affecting land use, let us discuss about figure 6.4, general land use and its changes in India from the year 1990 to 2011. So give the answers on the basis of the figure 6.4 on page number 40 of your textbook. First question, which are the land uses of 1990 to 1991 that shows decline in 2010-11 and what could be the reasons for this? The answer is total agricultural land use and the other non-agricultural land use of 1990 to 91 show decline in 2010-11 and increased urbanization could be the reason for it. Second question, which type of land use is maximum? What would be the impact of this on India's environment? And the answer is agricultural land use is the maximum, and it indicates that India is an agrarian country and its environment is comparatively more natural. Third one is, can a decline in that area under agriculture be equated with a food shortage? Answer is, a decline in the area under agriculture cannot be equated with the food shortage. With the modern technology, the maximum agricultural food production can be undertaken in the limited areas. So these are the answers based on figure 6.4. Now let us discuss about the questions of give it a try. What you have to do here? You have to observe the figure which is all about Maharashtra state land use 2010-11. So in this given pie chart, you can see area under forest, non-agricultural land, area under crops, grazable and cultivable fallow land with the different colors used for each entity. The first question here it is, what is the percentage of land suitable for cultivation? And the answer is, the percentage of land suitable for cultivation is 56.8. Second question, what is the percentage of barren land? And the answer is, the percentage of barren land is 8.3. Next question, what is the percentage of land under forest in Maharashtra? And the answer is, the percentage of land under forest in Maharashtra is 16.9. The last question, here it is, what is the percentage of non-agricultural land in Maharashtra? And the answer is, the percentage of non-agricultural land in Maharashtra is 10.2. Here, my dear students, you can see the diagram or the figure which is given on textbook page number 41. What you have to do, you have to study the figure given on the page number 42 of the textbook, which shows the satellite images of Mondha village, Taluka Hingna, district Nagpur. Based on this village, what you have to find out? You have to find out the changes in the land use pattern over time, and you have to write a note on it. So if you ask me the changes in the land use pattern over time, I'll say that based on this image, while studying the image, that's the satellite image of Mondha village in Hingna Taluka in Nagpur district. It shows that agricultural land use in the village has declined from the year 2010 and 2017. That means from 2010 to 2017, you can see the decline in the agricultural land use. Secondly, I'll say that the satellite image of Mondha village in Hingna Taluka in Nagpur district shows that the residential land use in the village has increased from 2010 to 2017. So this has happened because of urbanization, increasing population. So these factors must be responsible for changes in the land use pattern over time in Mondha village. Thank you.